Yeah, this episode's not going to suck like the last 100 or so. This one's going to rock with the nice guys on business.
It's a digital experience up until the point where you actually talk to a human being and you don't call Amazon. There's no number. They call you. Yeah, it's very cool. You go through a process and you can opt out of that process at any time and get to the human. But at a certain point, when you feel you're not getting what you need, there's a blank. You put in your phone number. And about the time you hit enter, it's weird. You barely get your finger off of the button and the phone rings. It's crazy.
I'm going to put it right on the line. There's been a lot of complaints already. Fooling around on the course, bad language, smoking grass, poor caddying. If you guys want to get fired, just keep it up. If you want to get replaced by golf carts or the nice guys on business, go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by Turnkey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
Nice Guy community, welcome back. He is a four-peat on the Nice Guys. Shep, did you even know that you were here 3 other times?
I knew that I've been here at least once or twice.
So Shep Hyken,
4 times. Wow.
I know. It's pretty sad. Not sad for me. It's sad that you actually had the balls to actually come back another episode. I can't believe you came back. You've listened to the episodes and he still came back. Nice Guy community. How cool is that? Shep Hyken is here. He's a customer service and experience expert, and he is the chief amazement officer of Shepard Presentations. A New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestselling author. He's been inducted to the National Speakers Association Hall of Fame for lifetime achievement in the speaking profession. But I only know him as like a good buddy of mine. Now he's got
a nice guy.
He is one of the key nice guys. 8th book. Is that even close to
number 8? Yeah.
Number 8 book called I'll Be Back. How to get customers to come back again and again. It's available right now. He's the creator of The Customer Focus, a customer service training program that helps clients develop a customer service culture and loyalty mindset. I am so excited to have you back, Shep. Welcome back to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
And you know what? I hope that after we're finished with this, I could say, I'll be back, and you'll say, okay.
Well,
I'll be back. Name of the new book. Title. Did I get it? See, I
saw how you did. I saw how you did that. Well, so magic is one of those things that Shep is amazing at. If you've ever seen him deliver a speech on one of the NSA stages or at your company, he's great. Comedy he throws in there. That's just an added bonus. You don't actually pay for the comedy, which is good because sometimes you might want a refund on that.
Oh, come on now. So I know humor is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah. And I always think everything that you say is funny, but just because you gave me free tickets to the Magic Palace in Los Angeles, dude, you are all over the place. I mean, in a good way, you're all over the place. You are still flying, even in this crazy world, you're still flying. How much of a tail off did your business go for that year and a half?
Well, I still am flying because I go to meetings and I visit my kids. Now, how many of those meetings are actually paid gigs versus, board meetings or even sometimes social type of interactions with other speakers when we want to get together and just want to talk to each other and mastermind a little bit. There's some of that. But I have done this year, are you ready for this? 1 speech on a stage.
Wow.
But I have done 80 of them off stage, virtual programs, probably more than that. Back when COVID first hit, everything went dead. I go, what are we doing now? And I studied what other speakers were doing. I thought about what might happen. I went and upgraded my studio with new cameras and lighting. And I said, I'm going to be doing virtual presentations, at least for a couple of months. Might as well do them right. A couple of months led to a couple more months. All of a sudden, everything's going to be fine by the fall of 2021. No, well, maybe January. It'll be back in 2022. Maybe we're lucky now, 2023, with this new Delta variant. But here's the point. I hate to use the word pivot because you turn your back on things, but I am flexible. And just this morning, I said to my wife as I'm taking a shower, that PowerPoint I made yesterday, which described on a deck a new thing that we're doing related to this research that I've created the last couple of years. I said, I'll bet I make more than 6 figures on that in the next 2 to 3 months. And I told her how. And I said, and I would have never have done this had it not been for COVID forcing me to come up with multiple different ways to have income beyond getting on stage.
Well, I want to chat about that for just a second, not about your six-figure income from your slide deck, but the importance for a company, especially when it comes to service. Everybody has gone online over the last 18 months or however long it's been since all the shit hit the fan. And for the companies that didn't shift, they got caught flat-footed. They're completely in the crapper. And from a service perspective, the same thing applies. So maybe can you talk about the importance of being able to shift in an environment like this?
So that was one of the messages I wanted to make real clear. And just to give you, so my business has typically been, I speak for a living. I have a trainer, I have a training program, and trainers actually go out and deliver my content. I have an online training program as well, which you mentioned, the customer focus. And then, if we sell books, because that year I wrote a book, that was it. Well, now we've added, I do the virtual presentations, and I've always done webinars. I may have done 8 or 10 a year for the last, I don't know how many years, using all types of different platforms, but Zoom was starting to come along. Well, now I'm doing 8 to 10 a month.
Wow.
So you can see where that's changed. But here's what happened. I recognize there's got to be other ways to skin this cat, because otherwise I'm out of business. So we started influencer marketing. Now, I've done a little bit of that, but what that means is people hire me to tweet with them and respond. And we actually put together a social media campaign that involves my audience, what they want to put across, the affiliation with our brand and what we stand for. That's important. We have sponsorship. People can sponsor my podcast. They can sponsor my newsletter. They sponsor my YouTube channel. The cool thing about the YouTube channel, I don't know how many people know this, but on the far right side, you can create a special link. And we just take that far right side and say sponsored by Doug Sandler, nice guy, podcast, whatever, and put a link to it. We can actually put that on there. And we can charge for that because we have approximately 5,000 to 6,000 people every week looking at my content on YouTube. And some of those people see that, would click on it, and our clients love that. So there's multiple ways to be flexible. I have a friend of mine who was in the restaurant business, and he was forced to shut down because restaurants couldn't stay open. And he noticed that what could stay open were grocery stores and food markets and, convenience stores. And he thought, why don't I just convert my restaurant to a food market, and I'll sell all of the items that we sell. It's kind of like takeout and to go, but what he also did is he sold them separately. Here's the special beef we have. Here's the gravy that goes with it. Here's the certain type of bread. And he became a food market, kept all his employees, stayed open. And when he went back, when everything did open up, guess what he still had? He said, this was great. I'm not getting rid of this. So a small section of his restaurant, you can now buy everything just like you could before when it was COVID.
It's kind of like the advent of the stuff that they used to pre-packed meals. We've been working with Green Chef and Pete's Paleo and all of that, and it makes it so much easier. Not that because it's COVID now, but it's like, well, that was the original reason why we didn't go out quite as often, is because now COVID is here and we're not going to go out to eat quite as often. We can't get to the restaurants; many of them are closed. We're going to start bringing these things in, and they've really beefed up their game. Pardon the expression. They've beefed up their game. They've vegetabled up their game too. Let's talk about that from a customer service perspective. What have you seen that has gone horribly wrong over the last 18 months when it comes to customer service, and what places have been doing with their with their front line of defense when it comes to servicing their customers?
Well, I don't know how much has really gone wrong, other than to say the company brand, whether it be B2B, B2C, didn't take into consideration the customer's feelings about safety and health. And I think the companies that, were negligent in that area and didn't seem to focus on it and make customers feel comfortable about doing business with them, they lost out. The whole idea of a touchless payment system. I think more people today use their little mobile device to pay for something, so they don't have to take or touch anything, hand a credit card to somebody and then take it back, and all the things related to physical contact. Today, they're using a touchless system. The company that said, we don't have that, may lose business. The company that doesn't have, even today, a mask mandate there are more people comfortable about wearing masks than the vocal ones who say they don't want to wear masks. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. This is not political.
Yeah.
But every stat and fact will show you that if you do not have a mask or health policy, that you will lose customers. Just the other day, this is amazing to me. And by the way, this has nothing to do with the book. I'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll get there in a second.
We'll get there. But I think it's important to make sure that people know that this isn't in the book.
Well, I think what we're establishing, Shep, is the fact that you're a human being and you've been through the same thing. This is not Shep Hyken. I wrote a book in a sterile environment. This is Shep Hyken dealing with the same bullshit that we're all dealing with in the world, not only whether it's mask or not mask, vaccine, non-vaccine, no political statements being made here at all. It's just talking about, okay, what has actually transpired in the last 18 months or so? And
yeah,
I'm with you, Shep, and I appreciate you spending time talking about this other stuff. And Shep knows we will talk about the book. I promise.
It doesn't matter. You know what? I just love hanging with you, man.
Thanks,
so
Shep.
Here's what's really interesting. I did some work recently with a concert venue, a smaller venue, 3,500, 4,000 people, and they have great name acts. They have Joan Jett from back in the 70s and 80s.
And the Blackhearts.
The Beach Boys, right? And then they have bands, I don't know who they are, but apparently they sell out with a bunch of teenagers and 20-somethings, which I probably wouldn't go to. But this is what's interesting. So who wouldn't want to go see the Beach Boys? They couldn't even sell 1,000 tickets. And it isn't because the Beach Boys aren't amazing. They are. But the Beach Boys audience is an older audience that doesn't want to go anywhere where there's not some kind of proof of vaccination or a mask mandate or proof that you haven't had COVID in the last 72 hours. And unless you do that, they're not buying tickets. Okay. However, a younger group that seems to be less susceptible to being severely, ill and hospitalized is willing to, live their life at a different risk level, tolerance level.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying good or bad, but they sell out the concerts there. So I recently did a program for them and they said, what are we going to do? And it was really interesting. They put into place that you had to come with the proof of 72 hours in advance or less
test
that you don't have COVID or a vaccination card, and you got to wear a mask when you walk through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you wouldn't believe the flack that they got. People, calling the press. And it turns out, and by the way, so what they did is they put this policy in place and they said, this starts now. And and on the back of your ticket, when you bought it, it said, our policies could change.
Right.
And they did. And they felt that this was a good policy for their customers. So what they said is, no refunds, but of course they knew people were going to ask for refunds. How many people you think asked for a refund?
I don't know.
It blew my mind.
I'm going to go, nobody asked for a refund. I don't
Bingo.
know.
Nobody. Okay. They said, the people, and the guy even said to me, he thinks the people that were loudest and most vocal probably didn't even buy a ticket. They just didn't like the policy. Now, good or bad, right or wrong, I hear what's happening. And I think this is a really interesting thing. So they asked me, how should we deal with a customer that comes to the venue and isn't prepared? They may have been vaccinated, but they didn't bring their card. They don't have any proof. What should they do? I said, why don't you set up a little stand outside that allows people to have a quick, rapid test, charge a minimal amount of money, and give them a drink coupon for the aggravation that'll cover the cost of that.
Wow.
And the guy said, that's brilliant. Now, how many people do you think they had to do that for?
Hardly any of them. I was going to say
hardly
none.
any of them.
Right.
And many of them didn't even know about the policy when they finally got there. They go, oh, well, that's cool. Or, so I'll go get a test, but that's the point. The company decided we're going to put what we believe is health and safety first. Now, if you don't believe in that, that is your choice. And you can go the other direction and say, we aren't going to do a mask. We don't care about that. And you're going to attract a completely different type of customer. And you may be just as successful or not. And that's why I'm very careful. And I know you probably know I lean toward the mask and the vaccination, partially because of my age. And it's just the way I am. I'm the guy that's compliant and all that. Tell me I've got to pay my taxes and I will. I promise I do.
Damn it.
So,
Damn it.
Anyway, but I see a lot of companies that have made the mistake of not listening to who their customers are. If you deal with millennials, it's totally different than dealing with boomers. And you've got to recognize that and cater to that and realize if you don't, you risk losing a percentage of your audience.
Understanding your market is something that you have excelled at over the last, I don't know, how long have you been doing this? 12 years?
I've been doing this for so long.
I mean, just absolutely understanding home run, understanding who your market is, what your message is all about, even the stuff that you offer. I know that's a big deal. Understanding how that product or service fits in the hands of your market. It seems like, you've always been an advocate of customer service is not a department, it's a philosophy, right? So it's something that's within an entire organization. It's not just something that you have a department head and they're talking to people on the phone. It seems like customer service is the same thing that it has always been. You treat your customers like gold and they will come back and they will reward you, so much so that you wrote this book, I'll Be Back. Tell me a little bit about the motivation behind the book and why. First of all, Nice Guy Community, go to, and I'll tell you, it's illbebackbook.com. Is that yes, right?
I'll Be Back book. And there's no apostrophe in "I'll" because the websites don't allow for apostrophes. So it looks like It'll Be Back book.
Yes, you can get the book on Amazon, but I would tell you, go directly to illbebackbook.com because you'll get to see this 3-minute video of Shep dressed as the Terminator, doing a great job. Amazing production. I think you even had a drone. Did you have a drone?
I had a drone shot in there. Yes. Yeah.
You had a drone shot in there.
I spent
Nice
some
job.
money on that. I hired a guy from Dallas, Texas to fly to St. Louis and bring his drone and his cameras. He had great ideas and he said he wanted to be a part of the project. Spent far more than I'll probably even make on the book. No, it wasn't that bad. But so here's the thing about the book. I'll Be Back, how to get customers to come back again and again. When I started out, had nothing to do with the Terminator, but about 3 paragraphs into me starting to formulate my outline, I go, who made the phrase "I'll be back" famous? Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do a book that ties into that, but then how could you not at least reference it a little bit? And then I started to have fun with it. And granted, in the first chapter, I talk about how you win the Arnie. And the Arnie is when the customer says, "I'll be back." And then they actually do. That's like winning an Oscar, but it's an Arnie. And then there's a chapter about terminating customers. I should have said a customer that says "Hasta la vista, baby."
That's the "Hasta la vista" chapter. Absolutely. Well, what is it? What is it that causes a customer? And again, Nice Guy Community, think about this with the transactions that you have actually gone through in the last 24 hours, in the last 6 months, in the last year, whatever it is. What is it that drives you back over, or brings you back, or lures you back over and over again when it comes to giving that company? You're using, the Holy Grail is, what are you actually paying for out of your pocket? You go to a company like Amazon or Southwest or a number of different companies that just deliver this exemplary customer service, and you just say over and over again, "Oh, I'm totally going back. I literally ordered a package here at 10 a.m. and it's by 6 p.m. It's on my doorstep. Anything wrong? You don't even have to return it. You just tell them you want to return it and they'll give you a credit and you get to keep the product." I mean, when you deal with customer service like that, and I've never actually had to deal with a person on the phone in the example that I just used on Amazon. Yep. So,
and if you did, you would like it, by the way.
Oh, because, is that right?
Yeah. So what they do, it's a digital experience up until the point where you actually talk to a human being, and you don't call Amazon. There's no number. They call you.
Whoa.
And so, yeah, it's very cool. You go through a process, and you can opt out of that process at any time and get to the human. But at a certain point, when you feel you're not getting what you need, there's a blank. You put in your phone number, and about the time you hit enter, it's weird. You barely get your finger off of the button, and the phone rings. It's crazy, and it's "Hello, this is Amazon," and I go, "Hello, what's going? How did that happen?" And then same thing that you're talking about. Sometimes they'll say, "We'll make this easy. Do you still have the box? We're going to go ahead and send you the product right away. Just stick the old product in a box." Or depending what the product is, they might say, "You know what? It's probably just easier for you to keep it, donate it, do whatever you want with it, because when it comes back damaged, we can't do anything with it anyway." And you know what? The coolest part about that, they trust you.
Yep.
Now, I will tell you, they have a program in place that looks out for the repeat offenders. If you abuse this policy of easy returns, they will recognize that you're probably abusing the system, and they call you out on it, and they could pull your account, and they've done it before.
So, Shep, I can see that works well to say, I'll be back to the multi-million or billion-dollar companies. But I want to bring it down to the entrepreneurial level. A guy like me that has a team of, I don't know, 9 people, let's say, 7 part-timers and me and my partner full-time. How can we keep up from a customer service perspective to those behemoths that have deep pockets and can afford to trust their customer and say, okay, just, send it back when you can?
Yep.
How do we do with that?
So, great question. And I'm going to tell you, whether you have one person or whether you have 10,000 people, I'm going to go right to chapter 15.
Okay.
The chapter is titled Where the Rubber Hits the Road. And I'm going to go through a quick 6-step process that creates the I'll be back experience. And it doesn't matter big or small. Here's what you do. Step 1, ask a question of yourself. If you have a team, surround yourself with leadership and other people on the front line. If you don't have a team, just internalize it and figure it out. Put it all on paper, by the way. Why would someone do business with me instead of the competitor? And be very specific. Don't say things like, we have great people, I have great service, because everybody says that.
Yep.
What do you have that's different? What do you do that's different? What process is different? Are your payment terms different? By the way, B2B, B2C doesn't matter. Even the government can take advantage of what I'm about to share right now. By the way,
hope they do.
In my recent survey, the Achieving Customer Amazement survey, we asked people how many believe, over 1,000 people in the survey, how many people believe the government gives great service? And actually 38% said, I do. I go, oh, wow. But I was impressed. Anyway, I digress. Why me instead of them? Next question. Why them? Why would the customer do business with a competitor instead of me? And be very specific. You better have your intel on your competition. Step 3, I call it keeping pace. What is it that the competitor does that you should be doing that you're not? Do not copy them if possible, because otherwise you're a commodity. Instead, find what it is that's different and adapt it. There was I use the example of the hotel that one day got real smart and said, let's give our customers, our guests, a newspaper. And they said, hey, by the way, we have newspapers. When you come down here tomorrow, they're free for our guests. Mm-hmm. And then the guy across the street noticed this and said, well, we need to have newspapers too if they've got newspapers. But let's make it better. We'll drop it off at their doorstep. And then another one said, well, that's impressive. Let's make it even better. Let's give them a choice of newspapers. They went dropped off. You see what's happening? They're trying to decommoditize. Now, eventually everybody does it, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Be different. If you're going to copy, still make it different. Step 4, instead of looking at your competitors, look outside your industry. Just make a list of all the companies you and whoever you're hanging out with in this meeting love and why you love doing business with them. Be very specific. And it could be a manufacturer that you love their inside salesperson. It could be Amazon. It could be a restaurant. You love the way the server and the manager treat you. It could be a shoe repair place. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. What do you love about them? And then you do the same thing that you did in step 3 about keeping pace. But it's not about keeping pace now. It's about looking at what you love about these companies and saying, what is it that they're doing that I could be doing? Chances are, if I hadn't thought about it and it's not on the list of what our competitors are doing, I'm now further differentiating myself, and I'm doing it by looking in the world of business, not just my industry. You're moving from best in industry to ideally best in class, world class. All right. So once you've done that step, which is step 5 of looking at what others are doing outside of your industry and figuring out what you can do and use, ask yourself for number 6, the same question you started with this minor caveat. And that is, now that I've done these, now that I've implemented these, whatever it is, ideas that you had, now why would a customer want to do business with me over my competition? And that's the 6-step process to creating the I'll be back experience that really separates you from your competition. And by the way, if you go to I'llBeBackBook.com, there's a whole video just on this topic.
See that, Nice Guy community? This is why I bring on Shep to the episodes. This is why he's come back a 4th time. He delivers in a short period of time value bombs. I mean, these are nuggets of information that you just cannot get just from picking up a book. You need Shep as a part of your life.
Well, thank you. You're too good to me. Thank you very much.
Shep, man, let's take a right turn. By the way, Nice Guy community, I'llBeBackBook.com. Head over there, check out his videos. If you want to get the copy of the book, you can do it directly from his website, or you can go over to Amazon.com, and I'll put a link in the show notes for that as well. As of the recording of this, the book is just about to come out. As of the release of this episode, this book will be out and it will already be a bestseller. Like, what's the goal for this book? You've already been New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller. Where are you going next?
I just want to be a contender. No.
Okay, Rocky.
I just want to get this book out. I think we've already pre-sold prior to the book launching, thousands of copies, and that's cool. But you know what, if it's another way to help a company make a difference, and people say, what's your favorite book? And it's like, you're asking me what my favorite child is, but I'm always partial to the last book I've written. That's and I think I put a lot of blood, sweat, and no tears, but a lot of effort into making this book great. When I got excited about this book, the idea was mulling around in my head for several years. I worked for a company as a speaker and I'm interviewing their CEO, prepping for the speech, and the CEO is talking about how they measure success in their business. And he says, we look at all the pretty standard, and I actually have this in the book, the best measurement, most important measurement you can have. And everybody looks at customer satisfaction scores, net promoter score, what's the likelihood that you'd recommend me, and all these 1 to 10 scales. But those are great history lessons. And history is important to know. So don't give those up, but realize what they are. You learn from those, you can do better next time. You learn from those, you're doing the right thing. But what this gentleman said is our most important measurement is behavior. Mm-hmm. Does a customer come back? How often do they come back? Do they fit in the cadence of a regular customer? And I thought, that's brilliant. And that just has been sinking around. I wrote an article about it, but it's been sinking into my brain, and I've been percolating it now. And I thought, that's it. I'll be back. That's what I need to write about. And I have so many new examples in the world of customer service that I can use that can help drive this. Even though in the book, I say nothing's changed in customer service, it really hasn't. People come, they want a good experience, and they want to be happy at the end. But what has changed, if there's anything that's changed, is about how we go about it. That's really what's changed. The beginning and the end are exactly the same. It's how we go about it. And we need to make sure we keep up to date. We give the customers what they want. And, whether it's a digital experience, do we want to make a phone call? Do we want to jump online and talk to, and interact with a chat bot to get our information really quickly? Right. We want to go look at a video tutorial. So many different ways to get customers to where they need to be. More than just picking up the phone.
So what's interesting about it is, Shep is very focused on the customer experience and customer service. And I have to tell you, Nice Guy community, as entrepreneurs, we're trying to focus on the entire package. We're focused on marketing. We're focused on product delivery. We're focused on product development and research and competition. Keep in mind, you really have two choices. Choice number one, you can go out and get a new customer. So marketing and all that other stuff. Choice number two, which is the easier choice, is do more with the customers that you have. I mean, that would seem to make the most sense. They already know you. They trust you. Yep. They like you. They want to buy more of what you have. Using those words, what will it take to get the customer to say, I'll be back? And your first step is, obviously, for me, and what I love about it is Shep's book, I'llBeBackBook.com. Go there, go over to Amazon, pick up a copy of the book, and watch his video. Because I'll tell you, there's nobody that looks better in a leather jacket and glasses. And you did a really good impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got him on right now. You can't see this because this is audio, but I'm watching him on video. He just put him on. Looking good, Shep.
The glasses, the sunglasses. I'm missing the leather jacket. But we had fun. So if you look at I call it a movie trailer, and it's rated A for amazing. and that's the whole idea. I just wanted to have some fun with it. And I walk into a restaurant and I'm just waiting. And I go, terrible service, relationship terminated. And the whole place blows up. And then I go into a shoe store and they can't get me the right size shoes. And doesn't look like I have two different sizes of my feet. And I throw the shoes down. Relationship terminated. And I finally, the last scene is where I go into, I'll let you see the last couple of scenes. I don't need to spoil it for you.
Well, one of the last scenes is Shep walks into a strip club, and you should see what happens there. No,
Unbelievable customer service.
Unbelievable. The personal attention to detail is amazing in that strip club. Shep, man, appreciate you being here. Thanks as always for sharing your message with my community, and thanks for always being amazing. Thanks for being on.
Doug, thanks for having me. You're a brother from another mother. I've known you for years and years. I consider you a great friend, and I can't wait to be back. So I'll be back.
Nice guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Shep Hyken for being on the show. All of his information, including access to his book, will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Thanks for listening. Bartender, Doug here's going to have a Cosmo, and Strickland is going to have a Fireball on the rocks. Not the little glass. Yeah, the big one, the 24-ouncer. Oh, and they'd both like a little umbrella. Just give me the bottle and charge them as much as you can.